This is my ranking of automation games that I've played based purely on my personal experience. Each one is placed from masterpiece to trash, depending on how deep the systems are, how satisfying the production chains feel, and how well the automation keeps growing and scaling. Let's get straight into the list. Oddsparks, an automation adventure, put me in a fantasy world where I helped a village grow by gathering resources, unlocking technology, and building automated production chains across forests, swamps, mountains, and regions. Instead of using conveyor belts, I relied on small creatures called sparks, assigning jobs and routes so materials moved between workshops and crafting stations. As the settlement expanded, I unlocked spark types, improved production, and reorganized layouts to handle terrain obstacles and resource demands. Exploration also mattered because areas contained materials, ruins, and clues about forgotten technology. I managed logistics, connected machines, protected operations with automated defenses, and solved efficiency problems as systems became larger. Watching every part work together felt rewarding, especially when production lines ran without attention or manual work. After many hours of planning, building, and optimizing, this lands in the great tier. Little Rocket Lab put me in the role of Morgan, a young engineer returning home to help restore a struggling town while completing a rocket project left behind by her mother. I gathered resources, crafted parts, and built automated production lines that supplied materials needed for town projects, upgrades, and requests from residents. Every new machine connected to a larger system, pushing me to improve efficiency and keep resources moving. The story stayed connected to progression, so factory growth unlocked new goals, areas, and opportunities around the town. Alongside automation, I explored the environment, managed daily tasks, and expanded production to meet increasing demands. The mechanics were easy to understand at first, but larger factories required better planning and organization as operations grew. Looking back at the full package, I place it in the good tier. Modulus factory automation had me running a growing robot colony where every production system started with raw materials instead of pre-built machines. I shaped blocks into useful modules by cutting, painting, stamping, and combining parts before sending them through automated lines. Building factories required careful planning because the machines themselves were products of the manufacturing process. As production expanded, I transported resources across multiple islands using conveyors, cargo ships, and larger logistics networks. New tools, upgrades, and technologies unlocked through steady output, while story objectives provided direction without getting in the way of automation. Much of the challenge came from solving bottlenecks, improving throughput, and redesigning layouts when demand increased. I also experimented with different module designs to make factories run more efficiently. Among all the automation games I played, this comfortably reaches the excellent tier. Satisfactory started with me arriving on an alien world and slowly turning raw natural resources into massive automated industrial networks. I collected ore, harvested materials, researched new technologies, and constructed machines that transformed simple resources into increasingly advanced products. As production demands grew, I linked miners, smelters, constructors, assemblers, and conveyor belts into larger systems designed to run with minimal manual input. The huge open map encouraged exploration because new resource nodes, valuable materials, and dangerous creatures were scattered across different regions. Expansion often meant redesigning existing layouts, improving logistics, and creating entirely new factory sections to support future goals. Cooperative play added another layer by allowing large projects to be completed with friends while sharing responsibilities across production chains. Very few automation games kept me engaged for as long as this one. That's why it stands in the masterpiece tier. Word Factori turned letter creation into an automation puzzle where every word had to be manufactured through carefully planned production chains. Starting with only a single letter, I used different machines to bend, rotate, reflect, merge, and transform characters into entirely new ones. Each target word required building an efficient network that supplied every needed letter in the correct order while avoiding unnecessary waste. As more mechanics became available, solutions grew more complex and pushed me to rethink how letters could be produced. Challenge levels added restrictions on machine usage, forcing different strategies and more creative designs. The game also tracked statistics such as cycles used, excess production, and building count, making optimization just as important as solving the puzzle itself. Experimenting with custom words created nearly endless possibilities. Among puzzle-based automation games, this deserves an excellent tier placement. Autonauts turned automation into a hands-on programming challenge where every new robot became another piece of a growing production network. I started by gathering resources, crafting tools, and constructing basic buildings before teaching bots how to repeat those actions automatically. Rather than assigning simple jobs, I recorded tasks and created instructions that allowed robots to collect materials, plant trees, transport goods, craft equipment, and support larger production chains. As my settlement expanded, new technologies, machines, and research options became available, opening more ways to improve efficiency. Human settlers eventually arrived as well, creating new demands that pushed automation further. The real challenge came from maintaining and improving an increasing number of bots while making sure every system continued working smoothly. After spending time optimizing and expanding my colony, I placed this in the good tier. Plan B Terraform gave me control of an entire planet that needed to be transformed into a place where humans could eventually survive and thrive. I began by extracting resources from the surface and using them to construct factories, transportation networks, and production systems that supplied materials across the growing world. Expansion unlocked larger projects, including greenhouse gas generators and ice extraction facilities that slowly changed the planet's environment. Unlike many automation games, the effects of these actions were visible as weather patterns evolved, temperatures changed, rivers formed, and rain started falling across the landscape. Much of the gameplay revolved around scaling production and improving logistics, so increasingly ambitious, terraforming projects could be completed efficiently. The calm pace allowed me to focus on planning and optimization without constant threats interrupting progress. For me, this fits into the good tier. Railgrade started by having me connect a few industries with simple rail lines, but it quickly grew into a much larger challenge where every delivery affected the success of the entire network. I spent my time laying tracks, creating train routes, and moving resources between factories, refineries, and growing cities. As production increased, I had to expand industries, improve throughput, and redesign sections of my railway to prevent bottlenecks from slowing everything down. New mechanics appeared throughout the campaign, gradually adding more layers to the logistics without making the game difficult to follow. I also enjoyed watching cities grow as they received the goods they needed, making progress easy to see across the map. Later missions required more planning, more trains, and smarter layouts to stay efficient. Looking across the whole experience, this arrives in the excellent tier. Shapez 2 kept me busy designing enormous automation networks where every objective revolved around creating increasingly complicated geometric patterns. I spent my time cutting shapes into pieces, rotating sections, combining different parts, and sending finished designs into the central vortex to unlock new milestones. What started with simple circles and squares gradually evolved into layered constructions that required colors, stacked components, raised sections, and multiple production chains working together. As new tools became available, I expanded operations across larger areas and eventually relied on trains to transport huge volumes of shapes between distant facilities. The challenge was never just creating a shape once, but building systems capable of producing thousands of them efficiently without interruption. Few games match the satisfaction of seeing dozens of perfectly synchronized factories operating at full capacity. This belongs comfortably in the masterpiece tier. Craftlings put me in charge of a group of unpredictable settlers who could gather resources, build structures, and fight enemies, but only if I guided them in the right direction. I spent my time creating production chains, placing buildings, supplying materials, and making sure the little workers had the tools needed for each job. Every map came with a different objective, and reaching it usually meant solving a complex automation puzzle while managing resources and avoiding unnecessary losses. The settlers acted independently, which often created unexpected problems that required quick adjustments and careful planning. I also relied on magical abilities to rescue workers from dangerous situations and keep important tasks moving forward. As more systems opened up, I gradually turned disorganized groups into productive settlements capable of handling much bigger challenges. This comfortably secures an excellent tier spot. And that's the end of the list. If you enjoy turning raw resources into giant automated systems, these are some of the games that left the biggest impression on me. Thanks for watching.